In honor of the fact that, and in an effort to get the word out to anyone who may have any uncertainty about this, don't put your gasoline in plastic bags. Today's draft, the dumbest moves of the NFL offseason, assuming that there are no teams out there that put their gasoline in plastic bags. That would be number one. We move on now to other things that were done that maybe shouldn't have been done. Myles, I'll give you the honors. First pick goes to you. Dumbest offseason moves 2021. You're up.
Okay, I don't want to feel like I'm a hater on this team, but like I feel like there were maybe 3 or 4 things that they've done over the course of this offseason that I could use for this segment. But I'll say this. The Raiders signed Kenyan Drake, a running back, to a deal for 2 years, $11 million, with $8.5 million guaranteed. Why would you do that in the year of our Lord 2021 for a running back? I don't understand. And like, I know that they tried this thing with Lynn Bowden last year where they wanted to convert him into like a flex guy where he can play running back and then wide receiver. And they think Kenyan Drake can do that, but are they going to trade him now? Like a 3rd round pick before he even plays a snap. So that's really the Lynn Bowden role. I think that there are other ways of getting that role done than signing a running back when you already have Josh Jacobs, who's going to be your number 1 guy for $8.5 million guaranteed.
And that's right. They have Josh Jacobs on a rookie contract who's making a lot less than that, and he's their workhorse. So it makes no sense. You could find somebody for a lot cheaper. You could get lucky and get somebody in round 5 or 6 of the draft who can maybe do what Kenyan Drake would do, and dollar for dollar, it's going to be a better value. I have to go with a topic that we discussed earlier in the program. The Panthers trading a 6th-round pick, a 4th-round pick, and a 2nd-round pick. Next year, a 2nd-round pick when you're going to actually be able to scout in a way that you weren't able to scout this year. That 2nd-round pick is going to have a lot of value. Plenty of great players come in round 2 for Sam Darnold. Why? Because they're so desperate to find a franchise quarterback, and they didn't want to roll the dice on none of the great quarterbacks in 2021 being left when they picked at number 8 overall. And as it turned out, they would have had Mac Jones. They would have had Justin Fields. And I thought that this was like next level David Tepper hedge fund stuff where he, instead of paying the price to move up, which would have been a lot more expensive, you pay the price to get Sam Darnold as your insurance. And also as, the fact that he's on the roster, it keeps someone from jumping over you. And then you can get Justin Fields or Mac Jones. I really thought they were going to take one of those quarterbacks at number 8. So I just, for a team that is desperate for a franchise quarterback, I think that this investment, and hey, I could be wrong. Darnold may end up being the guy that Colin Cowherd thought he was going to be. I don't know if you saw that video making the rounds. Low-end Andrew Luck, high-end Brett Favre. Maybe that's what Sam Darnold will become with the Panthers. But to me, I just think that it's way too much to give up simply because they didn't want to let the board play out and get one of the rookies.
He had the worst passer rating of any quarterback in 2020, worse than that of Carson Wentz, all right? And I think everybody, knows that Carson Wentz did not pass any sort of eye test last year. Look, Sam Darnold has a history of turnovers, whether it was at USC or with the Jets. I think that you could be right that the Panthers could certainly be in the same position that they are currently in. When they wanted to get Sam Darnold instead of Teddy Bridgewater, they could be in the same position a year from now and having to draft somebody or sign somebody else in free agency. So I certainly agree with you there. Here's my next one. I think the Ravens trading a left tackle to the top dog in the conference is something that I'm going to shake my head over. And it's something that I literally just praised Brett Beach for. And I understand that. And I think that they did a great job. But look, you even asked Brett about this, man. Like when you're getting a guy who is on a team that's one of your rivals in the conference for the top spot there, and you're competing with to get into the Super Bowl, it's either, well, you know what? We really don't believe in this guy, or maybe you're doing something that you shouldn't quite do to help the team that's been in the Super Bowl for the last 2 years. So I don't know. It's like, it reminds me of when the Cavs traded Kyrie Irving to the Boston Celtics. You don't trade that guy to the top competitor in the conference. You trade him to wherever your sport Siberia is. That's where you let him go be a left tackle. And they didn't do that. They sent him to the Chiefs. They got a 1st-round pick for him, but we'll see if it actually works out.
And if all else fails, you put him in John Kuhn's trunk. The next one for me is, that's a joke. If you weren't watching the show earlier, you really aren't going to get that one. That one's all in good fun. Orlando Brown wouldn't fit in John Kuhn's trunk. I'm fairly confident saying that. That's one of those where you have to get a bungee cord, when you got something really big in the trunk and you got to hold it together. Okay, there it is. I will find you. I will find you. Okay. I got to go with the Jaguars considering Tim Tebow, even if they don't sign him. And I suspect that they will. The other day, Urban Meyer tells Chris Collinsworth, hey, I told the guys, let's give it a shot, but we haven't signed him yet. Let's give it a shot. I think there's two reasons they haven't signed him yet. And one of them is they got to figure out what they're doing with Gardner Minshew so they know that number 15 will be available to sell all of those Tim Tebow jerseys that people are going to buy right out of the gates. And here's the one time Tim Tebow played tight end in his career. Urban Meyer said he's got great ball skills. I'd hate to see what that play would have looked like if he didn't have great ball skills. And I have a feeling they're going to run it again so we can fully appreciate moving right to left in the shotgun formation. And there's the throw, and it's boom, right off the helmet. Great ball skills. That would count as a completion in electric football. So maybe he's working at a level that the rest of us aren't. Look, they leak it the same day that Trevor Lawrence is going to become the new face of the franchise. They leaked that they worked him out. What is that? What are you doing? Embrace Trevor Lawrence. You don't need to dust off Tim Tebow, a guy that hasn't played in the NFL in 9 years. It's a gimmick. It's an effort to sell jerseys. It's an effort to sell tickets. And, hey, Myles, I'm a firm believer. If he's on the 90-man roster, you're going to see him in a uniform. Now, it may be, in September, it may be practice squad, and he gets elevated because there's 2 guys a week who can move up to the active roster. We're going to see him in uniform. And here's the other side of it, too, and I thought of this during the break. Clinton Dix, first-round pick in 2014, was out of football last year because he had a guaranteed salary from the Bears, and he just didn't play for anyone. He's participating in the Texans rookie minicamp this weekend on a tryout basis. Why not have Tim Tebow participate in the Jaguars rookie minicamp on a tryout basis? Let's see what he can do against the rookies before you sign him. It tells me it's preordained, it's predetermined, it's a gimmick. Anyway, go ahead. You're up.
Well, I didn't like that either, and that was on my list. And there's the other thing that I could have said right here, which is that NFL allowing single-digit numbers for, defensive backs and like that. But I won't say that. I won't. I'm going to go with Cincinnati passing on Penei Sewell and drafting Jamar Chase. And I think that, you know what? Jamar Chase could be an excellent receiver. He and Joe Burrow could continue that excellent chemistry that they had at LSU. But when you've basically been spinning your wheels and trying to replace Andrew Whitworth since 2016 when he left and then went to the Los Angeles Rams for the 2017 season, you don't have that guy that's entrenched as a left tackle. Somebody like Penei Sewell, you pair him with Joe Burrow, you have your quarterback and your left tackle maybe for 10 years. And look, Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow could be the next Montana to Rice or Young to Rice, whichever one you want to use. But I just feel like when you have a chance to get a left tackle, that's something that you really probably should do, especially when your quarterback is coming off a devastating knee injury.
The last one for me, and there's a bunch of different ways I could go here. The Lions trading for Jared Goff. I don't really think that was a good idea, even though they picked up probably a first-round pick to do it. The Rams using the first-round tender on Darius Williams. We've talked about that before. Yeah. Even the Steelers bringing back Ben Roethlisberger. I think both sides are going to regret that come December. But I'll just say everything the Texans have done in the offseason. It was overshadowed once Deshaun Watson's legal issues arose. But everything they've done, and it all traces back to Jack Easterby, frankly. Comedic stylings of Jack Easterby. Just go to YouTube and you can entertain yourself for about 45 minutes with all sorts of different jokes or attempt thereat. But everything they've done, Myles, everything they've done, with the exception maybe of signing Tyrod Taylor, everything they've done is a dumb move.
Oh, it's all been very, very head-scratching, and I would guess that Davis Mills also falls under the consideration of not too dumb either, but other than that, yes.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.